these and individuals in
You realise I've got to knock him back. I've got to say to him, I'm busy. All right.
yeah, but go on, speak a bit.
Hello and welcome to this very first episode of The Final Whistle with Ant, Martin and Nathan. Now, what is The Final Whistle? Well, it's three referees with varying degrees of experience, and we're getting together and we are talking about all things refereeing. It's not necessarily by the referees for the referees, it's by the referees for everyone. What we're going to do is come together about once a week and we're going to talk about all the issues that have been rattling around in the football world from the perspective of referees. Not the referees at the very top, which you hear about all the time, but the referees from all throughout the footballing pyramid. Now for this first episode, myself, Martin and Nathan got together on Zoom and we had a big long chat about all things refereeing. That conversation went on for about an hour and a half. Now we wanted each episode to be around 10 minutes long. Anything longer than that, it just gets a bit boring. So what we've done is for this first episode, we've chopped it up into several parts. We're looking to get about 3 or 4 parts out of this first Zoom chat altogether, and then after that we're going to be bringing in special guest referees, special guests from maybe outside of the refereeing world, and just having a good old natter about football from the referee's perspective. Having said that, this is the very first episode and part 1 of maybe 4, who knows, of The Final Whistle. As always, if you do enjoy this, please do leave a like, drop a comment and share this with your friends.
There is no kind of off-the-screen voice for referees at the moment. What you see is the likes of Mark Halsey or I want to say Dermot Gallagher or whoever.
Mukalali, you mean? Mukalali.
Yeah.
Mukalali.
Yeah, that's the one. Nothing to see here.
Tanks coming behind them.
But that's it. But and those for everyone that watches, like when I talk to people after they've watched a Premier League match, and I kind of give the referee's perspective, which 99.9% of people watching will never have. They don't even think about it. It'll be good for them to see us chatting about what we've seen from that perspective, because it's not going to be just one voice just chipping in at the end of a bunch of other people talking. It's going to be us talking about it. So
I think it's great, Anthony, and I think we could do, where we have our ref watch. Yeah. I think we should do the same and just be real and just say, look, we understand Dermot gets paid by the PGMOL, so he's never going to bite the hand that feeds him on Sky.
Of course, he's got.
However, referees need to. Sorry, mate. Referees need to understand that.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the truth.
Yeah.
And grassroots referees shouldn't be going out and doing that because they've got to be able to sell it and stuff like that.
Yeah. Watch it, enjoy it, don't ref like it.
I saw there was one about 2 or 3 weeks ago, wasn't it, about the affiliation fees that were, some are offering them and some are not offering them and things like that. And I'm thinking, well, referees have lost out on a lot and they've stayed loyal, and some of them are even paying their affiliation fees again, but in the optimistic hope that it obviously, we'll be back out as soon as possible. But, and I think that the conversation around that has been massive. And I also think that, but what I will say is as well, I saw one, I think it's down in Sussex, isn't it? One of the referees, it's a big part of your group, is transgender. And I think that's a fantastic thing that, obviously they've been able to then use your support network as somewhere where they can say to colleagues, oh, by the way, this is who I am. And I thought I was going to have to stop refereeing. And I was reading that, and I was reading all the all the messages, all the comments that were coming through as a result of that and things like that. And I was thinking, oh, that's absolutely wonderful that they've been able to lean on the support of colleagues, and use your forum for that. So I think there's so many things that are similar to what obviously I'm doing, because I've just written something about just went out last Friday about sort of sexuality and things like that to do with referees. So I think that it's not all obviously things that we can't say. I think it's both sides. It's really good, but it does surprise me that there are at least 2 that I know of that are refereeing professional level that are gay. And there's obviously no sort of openly gay players in the Football League or Premier League. And it does surprise me that it's something that seems to go a little bit under the radar. But obviously I do use, I talk about it in football generally, and then I drill it down to use Ryan's example of his story. And a culmination of interviews that he's given is what's provided the inspiration for all of that. And I read them all and put them all together and said, look, this is a story. And then more than anything, it's for the referees who follow the page who might not have come out yet, just to sort of feel a little bit like, right, okay, well, there are colleagues out there that are gay, and it's not a barrier to being a successful official.
No, it's interesting because we've got, we had someone approach us 2 weeks ago saying, I've noticed you haven't got an LGBT representative, but you've got BAMEs like Phil Prosser, who's our BAMEs, like he's ex-FIFA, Premier League, assistant referee, Football League, referee, real good credibility. When this guy comes to us, I said, well, why have you flashed this up? And he said, well, I'm openly gay. I'm in Norwich RA. I would love to be your LGBT ambassador. I said, well, brilliant, let's do a bit of due diligence on him. So hopefully next week we'll announce that. And if you want to tie that in with Ryan or whatever,
I mean,
happy to do that.
Whoever that person is, if you want to bring them on, and we could use this chat as a kind of springboard platform to launch a wider discussion into our respective social media channels. But I think it is, like Nathan was saying, it's very under the radar at the moment. It's like there are obviously LGBT plus referees and individuals in.
You realise I've got to knock him back. I've got to say to him, I'm busy. All right.
Put him on speaker, be like, yeah, listen, now's not a good time.
Yeah. Sorry.
There is plenty of LGBTQ plus, to get the title right, officials and people involved with football, but I believe they do play it down because they don't want it to have a negative effect on how they are either seen or perceived or anything like that by the wider football community. And so having an open discussion about it can only be a good thing. So I think that's...
Yeah, I agree. And with Ryan, one of the other things that we're working on, but we're waiting to confirm, is we want to do, like you had the rainbow laces.
Yeah. We
want to do sky blue laces for the NHS and essential workers.
Yeah.
So I've set up people like in Clattenburg, I've talked to Ryan, and he said, oh God, we'll get behind that. And he said, you want to go towards Stonewall, so they'll say, listen, we did it with our laces, let's get the same sort of campaign. So I think the laces are going to be something like £1.
Yeah.
No profits, nothing. The supplier is going to do it, it's just going to do it at cost. But it's all about having a message that we're all together, so when grassroots comes back, if all the players and refs are wearing sky blue laces, I just think it'll be a real positive message that just...
Yeah, definitely. And that is 100% everything, something that everyone can get behind, because there's no political divide there. There is anything that praises the NHS, especially what it's been through in the last 3 or 4 months. Top priority and the highest profile to get that kind of thank you out there. So yeah,
absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, I think it's easier as well if you look at it, because obviously, the top 2 divisions that are playing, and obviously the Football League as well, where the playoffs is. They've got things that are printed or sewn into kits, and that's not practical for grassroots players and officials and everybody who's involved at that level, but they might still want to get behind it. So I think it's an excellent idea,
I've got Martin Ziegler from the Times. He was going to put an article in today. He might do it tomorrow, Martin Ziegler, because I've got really good, strong contacts with them. Yeah. And about our... it hasn't really been... Well, the RA never jumped on it. But when we forced those changes for those under-18 referees that we announced last week, that went all the way up to the FA Council. And when you look at that document, that is groundbreaking stuff that no one ever challenged. Now, Kelly, our parental ambassador, she went to the RA first, and no one ever got back to her. She put a tweet out. I picked it up in an hour. Within 24 hours, she had a page on her website everything she wanted to do. So 6 weeks later, the RA started coming on board and letting her do stuff, and now the RA are trying to take praise of it.
As normal, the RA is 6 weeks behind.
And it's like, it's really bizarre. And one of the problems I've got, so you both know the political part of it. I got suspended by the RA when I started up ref support. I've got all the letters saved. It was really, really funny because the RA round here was going bust.
Yeah.
I used to be chairman. I only left because my wife got diagnosed with cancer, so I chose to step away from the RA and look after her. Well, within 8 years, it collapsed because they would never stand up to anyone, and that's why we met Anthony, Nate, because I used to organise trips to take about 15 people from the RA over to Holland, and we'd pay for everything. And the only deal was that they give us their match fees back, and that went to lower the other side of it. So anyway, it went under, and I tried to save them. They approached me, but they all voted on saying, yeah, let's go RA ref support. Same happened in Bristol. Same happened in Taunton. The RA stepped in and said, nah, it's the RA or nothing. And now Bristol closed down, no branch, 120 odd years. Western closed down, gone. West Somerset RA's gone. Bridgewater's now gone. It's all because that's not what they want. They want more of this, and they want more. Where you sit, Nate, is perfect because, you know, what you're producing and what you're delivering is really top quality content, delivered very professionally, which is there's a great market for that. And what we do, we talk about the stuff. We're the elephants in the room. You know, the subjects want to be talking about. So you will use a feather, and I'll throw a hand grenade into the room. and I do it on purpose because I know there's people out there who will engage, and then you'll realise how stupid people are when they just say things because that's all you've ever been told.
Yeah.
So they just naturally believe it, and they think, oh, we must go against ref support because we know the FA don't really want them to have a voice so well. Yeah. They sort of go against us because they feel they should, rather than when they look at the message and think, oh, actually, I've never thought of that. I never thought of that.
I guess they've just been spoon-fed by the RA the whole time. I was also chairman of my local RA in Ellesmere Port, and we would do all sorts. I was bringing, at that time, it was just a gathering of old men, and that's how I saw it, and that's what it was. And they would sit around and chat about the matches they had. And I was like, you know what? I've got the tech. I can bring in videos. We can talk about match incidents. And at the time, they were really up for it. But on delivery, they were just like, nah, do you know what? We'll just have our half pint. We'll chat about our matches. And as time went on, and I wasn't getting anywhere with what I thought would be an improvement, I was like, yeah, do you know what? I'm not going to engage with this. And at that time, I was running the referee forum as well, which is, like Martin said, I'd coerced a group of referees from that forum to go over to Holland, and there was about 6 of us, and we had a little bit of a crossover out there when we all met each other, all got very drunk. It was a great time. But I felt like it was a fight to get the RA to kind of, at a local sort of branch level, to change from what they've been doing for like decades previously. Unless you had a forward-thinking group, it just wouldn't happen. You'd end up just fighting and losing.